7 reasons why the Chinese are such bad tourists. Officially known as the People's Republic of China, but unofficially nicknamed the Red Dragon, it is the 4th largest country in the world physically. It also has more people than any other country on Earth. There are about 1.38 billion people living there today, more than twice the number of people in Europe and 1 billion more than in the United States of America. This extreme overcrowdedness creates a lot of problems for the people trying to live and work together, and children grow up into adults learning to speak and act in ways that we might think are plain rude and obnoxious, but which may be quite normal for the Chinese themselves. So when Chinese people travel abroad to visit other countries, they end up giving lots of problems because they behave in exactly the same way as when they are at home. Chinese tourists can be notorious for ignoring greetings, acting in selfish, unfriendly, and boorish ways, and even spoiling national monuments without a second thought. Here are 7 possible reasons why the Chinese are getting a bad name for being terrible tourists. Number 1. The Middle Kingdom and the Cultural Revolution. We must first try to understand Chinese history to better know the Chinese mindset. China is one of the world's oldest civilizations. Its name in Chinese is Zhongguo, literally translated as the Middle Kingdom. This means that for centuries the Chinese believed that they lived in the very center of the universe. Chinese philosophy, science, and culture also have a very long tradition. They were inventive, creative people, the first to use silk, jade, bronze, wood, and paper for artwork. They invented printing, porcelain, and gunpowder, and they had sage philosophers such as Confucius who influenced their sense of morality and respect for education. This rich heritage means that the Chinese are naturally a proud people and see themselves as superior to others. When the Cultural Revolution was started by Mao Zedong in the 1960s, it affected a whole generation of young people. Books were burned, traditional education shut down and replaced by re-education through hard physical labor, and it was every man for himself. Families were broken up, jobs and properties were lost, and people became very poor. This traumatic time had terrible psychological effects, and the ripple effects of this social upheaval can still be seen today because this generation of youths have now grown up. Number 2. Me first. A fear of losing out. Given that most people struggle every day to make ends meet, fighting for limited goods and services such as food, housing, jobs, and transport, a Chinese person learns early that she or he needs to compete. No one is going to give it to them just for the asking. About 1/3 of the population lives in one of the megacities, such as Shanghai, the financial center of China with almost 18 million people, or Beijing, the capital city and political center of China, with almost 12 million people, or any of its other 120 large cities. Congested living conditions cause people to take the me-first approach when it comes to something they want. They will not queue or wait politely for their turn, but instead rush to get to the front before others get there. They know that if they are too slow, they will surely lose out on what they want, whether it's getting on the bus, boat, train, or plane, or the chance to buy that handbag, toy, or computer game before it sells out. Number 3. Money-mindedness. Since 2014, China has become the world's richest nation. As a superstar economy, its agriculture, manufacturing, technical, and service industries affects every other country in the world and has made it rich. When Chinese people travel, they carry thick wads of tourist dollars to spend on designer items and luxury goods. This big spender mentality makes them much sought after by shops, but it also ruins their reputation because they are known to grab items without consideration of other customers and literally throw money at sales staff. Their relative wealth as a group has grown, but unfortunately, they have left their manners behind. They have no qualms buying up everything and shouting at everyone just because they can. Number 4. Unbalanced education. A large proportion of Chinese tourists include those that are poorly educated and come from rural parts. But because they have enough money to travel abroad, they do, many for the first time. Their lack of education could be a strong reason why they don't even understand the social rules that people in other countries live by. At the same time, their education system is unbalanced. Technical subjects like engineering, science, medicine, and maths are put above the social sciences and arts, meaning that even the better educated are less able to understand other cultures. This strong focus on technical skills and content could be another reason why people generally tend to lack modern social graces when they travel. Number 5. Limited exposure to the world. A related point to the one above is the government's restriction of internet accessibility, for example, to Google or Facebook. As a result, the Chinese cannot learn from alternative sources of information, so it is no wonder they have a very limited view of the world outside their borders. Number 6. Creating little emperors means no respect for rules. The one-child policy has meant that boys are usually favored by parents over girls. These children can grow up completely spoiled, used to getting whatever they want from the adults around them. So naturally, they don't learn social etiquette because their every wish is a command to others to provide it for them. Incidents of children and adults urinating in public is an extreme example of this phenomenon. Number 7. Traveling in large groups. Finally, when Chinese travel, they tend to do so in massive groups, and the collective effect of this draws negative attention. If there are bad eggs among them, doing loud, obnoxious things, like trying to open the door on a plane in mid-flight, it could easily seem like the whole group is misbehaving. Not all Chinese are rude and obnoxious. It can just sometimes seem that way because there are so many of them.